Last Saturday, the NFL got the shocking news that Andrew Luck was going to retire. It was very close before the season, and many people were shocked as to why he would make a decision when it seemed destined that he would come back and have a great season with Indianapolis. But the cycle of injuries and rehab and all the stuff that's happened to this poor guy over the last 4 years of his life really taken a toll on him, and I respect him a lot for making the decision that he did. But his legacy is not going to be remembered as it should be. His legacy is going to be remembered as one of a quitter, as one who bowed out too early, one who didn't finish the fight. He only played 6 seasons in the NFL, and there's a lot of unfinished business that Indianapolis has in the NFL. But Indianapolis should not be mad at Andrew Luck for his decision to retire. Indianapolis should be mad at their front office and at their former coaching staff who let this man absolutely tear apart the NFL, but with no help and no offensive line. And now it's finally taken its toll on him. He's done. He has an offensive line now, but that's because a brand new general manager came in, Chris Ballard. And the one thing that I think defines Andrew Luck's career more than anything is one word: time, or lack of time. He didn't have enough time with Chris Ballard to make a good career out of his last few years with Indianapolis. He didn't have enough time in the pocket when he was in Indianapolis. Before Chris Ballard came in, they didn't give him enough time in the pocket because they couldn't draft an offensive lineman. And he just didn't have enough time in his career. His time was cut short in the NFL, and that's sad. But I saw this stat on ProFootballReference.com in his player page, which, by the way, Pro Football Reference is a great site. It has everything football, and I really recommend that you go look at it if you're interested in football. But you go to the site and go to his player page, and they have this thing for all players. It's called the similar players graphic or stat, whichever you want to call it. And it basically maps out his career and his path and his trajectory through the career and compares it to other NFL players and see what his best career path was, what the most similar career path that he took is. And they have his career, and they also have the first 3, 4, 5, and 6 seasons of Andrew Luck's career. They can go as long as they want, but he only played 6 seasons in the NFL. And through his 6 seasons in the NFL, one of the most comparable players in terms of their career paths through their first 6 seasons is Joe Montana. Yeah, this guy. You might recognize him. Called one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, possibly the greatest. It's depending on who you ask. Yeah, this guy. 6 seasons of Andrew Luck's career, all 6 seasons, and it matches closely to the career path of the first 6 seasons of one of the most legendary quarterbacks in NFL history's career. Let's say, in a hypothetical scenario, Andrew Luck actually had competency within the Indianapolis Colts when he came in, and had a good general manager and a good coach who knew how to draft and develop offensive linemen and had him protected, which Joe Montana had. Joe Montana had the greatest head coach in the history of football, or one of the greatest head coaches in the history of football. That's up for debate. Bill Walsh. He had a great front office in San Francisco who knew how to build a roster. He had great help around him. And in his first 6 seasons, he won 2 Super Bowls. It was a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, went 7-1 in the playoffs, only lost 1 game, and had one of the greatest playoff moments in the history of the NFL with Dwight Clark's catch. Andrew Luck went 4-4 in the playoffs, never made it to the Super Bowl, didn't earn an NFL MVP, didn't earn really any NFL honor except for Comeback Player of the Year, and 4 times actually, in the Pro Bowl. Joe Montana was a Pro Bowler for 3 times in his first 6 seasons. And again, he was a 2-time Super Bowl champion and 2-time Super Bowl MVP by then. Look at his career path that happened after that 6 seasons, and his entire career for Joe Montana. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro. Those both were earned in his first 6 seasons in San Francisco. He was a 2-time NFL MVP, 8 times in the Pro Bowl, NFL Hall of Famer. Andrew Luck will almost certainly not make it to Canton, and he has not won a Super Bowl, and he's only average in the playoffs in terms of his record. But that's the problem with the Indianapolis Colts, is they didn't develop around him. This man had to endure some of the worst NFL teams that had been put together, at least on the offensive line, and bad defenses, and very little help around him, and he still won games. He took a 2-14 team in his rookie season and made them 11-5. Made the playoffs. Had multiple comebacks that year, and it continued to have them throughout his career. He breathed life into a football team that sadly had lost almost all of its life after Peyton Manning retired. But he won't be remembered like that. He won't be remembered as the guy who could have been, as the Joe Montana, had he had a competent team. He'll be remembered as the guy who quit too early. And that's sad. For a man who's given up so much for the game of football. For a man who was a very highly regarded college prospect. Made his way to the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Didn't make the Super Bowl. Made the Pro Bowl only 4 times. Never made an All-Pro team. And never won NFL MVP. And had too many injuries to his body. Retired at 29. And he quit way too early. So, I encourage you, I implore you, don't remember Andrew Luck as the guy who quit too early. That is not the Andrew Luck that I would like you guys to remember. I want you to remember Andrew Luck as the guy who carried a franchise on his back and on his shoulders and on his arm, definitely on his arm, for 6 seasons. That's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, definitely click that subscribe button and that notification bell. Leave a like and a comment. That stuff really helps my channel grow a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, Jesus loves you, and God bless you all.